It's Friday, February 24th. Welcome to Pastor Bob Daily. You know, all of us have to answer a very important question. Who is Jesus? It's an important question. And it not only takes our intellect to answer it, but it takes our hearts to answer it as well. And no matter who you are, whether you claim to be a Christian, an atheist, an agnostic, whatever, you have to answer this question: who is Jesus? You know, Jesus himself asked the question about 2,000 years ago. It's recorded here in Luke chapter 9, starting with verse 18. It says, "Once when Jesus was praying in private, and his disciples were with him, he asked them, 'Who do the crowd say that I am?' And they replied, 'Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others that one of the prophets of long ago has come back to life.' But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" And Peter answered, "God's Messiah." Good answer. You see, people around you are saying all kinds of things about Jesus, and for centuries they have as well. You know, there are many writers, historical writers, over the last couple centuries that have written about Jesus. Some were agnostic, some were followers. It's interesting that even though Jesus died and resurrected and walked among people for a few weeks, nobody disputed that it happened, because it was well recorded and so many people had seen him. The dispute was basically, who was this guy? And some still said, he wasn't the Messiah. He couldn't have been. But what do you say? Jesus asked them this question because he knew how important it was for them to personally answer it. You know, our churches are filled with people that go there because their grandmother does, or their parents did. A lot of people call themselves Christians because it's something that their ancestors were, and they just follow the tradition. Some people sit in church every week and they listen to what other people believe, and they say, well, yeah, that's true. But you know, Jesus didn't say, just what do you believe? He said, what are the people saying, and what do you believe? Because there's a distinction, you see. People all around you can be saying all kinds of things, but you have to personally answer this question. And once again, it's not simply answered with your mind. You can't say just intellectually, historically, who Jesus is. History bears it out, but that's not enough. Jesus wants you to answer it from your heart. You know, Peter had a good answer. He said, God's Messiah, God's deliverer, God's answer to our problems, God's gift to us, the very one that would make it possible for a link between you and God to be established. And that was Peter's answer. That's an important answer. But you see, if Jesus is God's Messiah, if he is the promised one, then that's a whole new thing for all of us. You cannot just have an intellectual answer. You have to have a spiritual one. You have to have a heartfelt one. You have to have one that involves a relationship. And Jesus knew this. He knew that it was more important that they have this connection. Not just what are other people saying, but what do you say? And how do you react? That was really important. So that's my question to you today. I don't care if you've gone to church your whole life. I don't care if your grandmother's a Christian. Well, I do care. But as far as you're concerned, folks, what do you say? And Jesus is really asking you that very, very same question. Who do you say that he is? And if you say God's Messiah, then that involves some action on your part. It involves you making a decision about what you're going to do with that information. Jesus said if you begin to believe in him, if you accept him as your Messiah, your personal Savior, that he will come in and he will begin to establish his life in you. Pretty incredible. Who do you say that he is? God bless you. Have a great day.